Will anything change here in game 10? It's going to be our fourth game of the day, and already you're seeing Flickzy, Thomas, nothing changing here. Business as usual between the two. And it does look like Flickzy, Thomas have that elevation that we're always talking about. Cringe gets spotted out. Thomas being so patient, even though he has the ability with the hammer pump to go ahead and land a one shot. He's making sure to use the teamwork to really make this dream work.
He got the benefit of getting a shotgun off the start, which can be crucial to coming out on top. But the issue is now, as the time keeps going, the clock keeps ticking. Both teams are going to keep looting. And it looks like it isn't going to be an instant brawl.
Not just yet. What we've seen so far, I think Crimson Nodge playing just a little bit more careful than they have before. Flickzy, Thomas, they've never been one unless they have a huge advantage right out of the gates to really chase after any of these eliminations, especially towards Lavish Layer, where there's so many places to hide, around corners, behind doors, even behind some boxes and chairs. As we tune in to Marius already down right out of the gates. Sangil's going to be by himself, and they are playing so well today. Almost getting double-digit eliminations in that last game.
Thomas HD now in the action as he knocks down one. Engagement has commenced. Upper hand for Flickzy and Thomas HD. Is it going to be enough to finish it off? It is. Nice two elims now. 12 points to bump them up. Currently, they were third place going into this match, just 7 points below Reason and Vidil. So with these 12 points, they're already going to be in second.
Already we're seeing positions change, and that's exactly how the fight started. Crimson Nodge trying to work their way up. Thomas, Flickzy already having that advantage. In the end, the fight just as quick as it starts. But from one side of the map to the other, Snooty Steps, rather calm. His Reason does look like he's already stuck as a solo. And this might change the way you think. It might change the way you play if you're someone like Reason, especially with its 1.5 points. Placement is everything for him in this situation.
Once again, Mally Murstache picking up the medallion and mythic loot here. Now shortly going to go towards the vault. There are duos in fencing fields, but they're not exactly fighting each other off the start. They're focused more on looting up and continuing the rest of their path. They have this planned down to the second from the amount of times they've done it. What the farm on the rotate, how to maximize how long it takes. Ping Mixin now as well, already outside of their original drop spot, being chased down almost, it seems, by a duo on a ridge.
Shots still going through, even though that's not a ton. That team is getting the shots. It's just allowing them a little bit more flexibility and freedom as the game does progress, especially if they're still able to find surge shots, even if it's not just on Mixin and pings. As they are looking around all other directions, they have the elevation advantage in a position like that. As Sangil now under pressure once more. He was left alone as a solo. Misha Tini trying to go ahead and the run of a team that's just been so dominant throughout the past couple of games, and he's doing everything he can to try to just disengage, but he's going a little bit too quick for himself. And this is where Misha and Tini, they're just going to continuously chase this one down. This is 6 points. This is a player that's ahead of them on the leaderboard that they don't have to worry about for the remainder of this game.
Looking to plan his escape route. Does have that grapple blade in hand, giving him the advantage, as I believe his opponents do not. So they'll take shots from afar, but they're not going to be able to chase Sangil as quickly as he's able to escape.
Does look like Misha and Tini can remain on the chase, especially as we continue to move over to this side of the map, where there's not as many teams contesting compared to some of these other split drops and overall POIs, especially with another team. I think that was low-key an area nearby. Misha and Tini might get distracted with them and allow Sangil to get out and have a chance to get Marius back into the game, because that's going to be the biggest thing. There's a huge strength in numbers. Even with some solo clutches, the biggest difference is when teams are able to make it to the end game alive.
It's easier said than done, Jacob, is the issue, especially with the level of this lobby. Astral Art skill close by. If they're able to spot Sangil here as a solo, it could be incredibly dangerous for him. He does have the grapple blade, though. So he is going to be able to quickly get up this ridge. The shots come through, though. You can see him almost acting aggressive to try and show confidence, make them think that it's a duo that's healthy and ready to fight. But little do they know, it's a solo with 50 HP and no spare shield or health to work with.
If he has the reboot card, that's a good chance for him to move back towards Rebel's Roost. A lot of the teams are rotating towards the south, towards the center of zone. So a couple reboot vans up there have the chance to be uncontested with nobody really in that position. Cade and Diox started these games off over towards fencing fields. They loot up a lot of the outskirts since they know Malabuka and Mustache will go for the vault, will go for the NPC. And then they kind of disengage on out from there and try to get their surge before they start to rotate towards the center of zone. They kind of work their way from the outside in.
33 bullets in that Reaper sniper rifle. More than enough to make an impact as they continue hunting around to see if there's any players in the surrounding area. For Sandguild, though, it looks like he's making it happen. Reboot comes through. Are there any duos around? I don't see them. No shots coming through either, but just in case, building up, making sure they're good to go. You can see on the mini-map, though, it looks like someone's interested.
Yeah, there was one duo that heard the noise, and they're quickly rotating off into this direction. They know exactly where the reboot van is, but they don't have confirmation that they are still there up until this point where Sandguild breaking through. You still have to break those. I actually got stuck on that the other day. The fight's going to begin, though. That's Arc Skill on the other side. Makes easy work of Sandguild. Marius going to have to go ahead and make up for it. He was able to grab a decent loadout for a situation like this, trying to burst into the box. Art Skill is going to be there on the other side, a trade for trade, a knock for a knock. But Marius still has a player on Astral right below him who is full shield and HP that he has to work his way through.
Marius was the one that got rebooted, so no shield to work with. Just a little bit of weapons. He can make it happen. He just needs to hit that initial big shot. He cannot take one from his opponent here. Astral 26. It's not going to be enough yet, but if he can keep it coming, 4 builds to work with. Now in the box, needs to get out. Unable to hit the next shot as now he's dropped down. Forced to work with just 3 builds. He needs to connect this next shot.
Uh-oh, running out of time here. There's not a lot of heals to go around as Astrals does look like he might try to bait out the revive, get Marius to break into the box, and really has no other choice unless you want to go ahead and try to find a 2v1. Seconds left. Player will go down overall due to timing, which kind of solidifies it into a 1v1.
Oh.
Marius trying to turn and burn, but Astral just too much HP. I said that in the beginning. He was full shield and full HP. Unfortunate enough, there was a great attempt, but it can't overtake your opponent.
We'll take a look now. Pixie walks. Lasky Hen. They are going to be around the forecast tower. Taking shots with the sniper. Unable to connect one yet, though, as the waiting game here for the objective will continue.
Actually, oh, wow. Pixie almost gets sideswiped there. Scroll narrowly missing that shot. Great opportunity, but now he's coned up, boxed up. He's going to work his way down. Walks works his way out. Him and Pixie are able to reunite finally in the same box. And there's another team kind of waiting on over in that direction, rotating on out. They didn't like what they saw in terms of trying to third-party this fight. They think it's a safer and better play to rotate towards the zone, especially with Forecast Tower being in that direction.
We've seen a lot of quick scopes turn fights around here. All it takes is one headshot. The sniper rifle isn't just effective from afar. It's effective from close range. Say one of the best weapons to turn fights around. Haze and Benno looking to see if they can climb back up. Second half of the day, they dominated. As Mixon is going to be the one that goes down. That's one on the board for Benno now, but the pressure from the teams in the surrounding areas will continue as they're going to re-loot what they got from this elimination.
This is typically a chance, too, if a team is fighting for Forecast Tower over on that side, for them not necessarily to go in, get aggressive with the point getting eliminations. No, not that, but more so to try to keep getting surge, taking advantage of teams, Kiro and Kudo kind of hiding nearby. Don't want to really take that risk. Got to imagine Forecast Tower saw it in the distance, already boxed up. Flickzy Thomas with their early game eliminations. They're feeling comfortable sitting on top of Lavish Layer. And with the zone rotating towards the north, they're just hoping that all those teams that landed towards the north, whether on the east or the west side, use Lavish Layer as a way to rotate through. And that's how they're hoping to find their surge.
Rotate coming through now. Thomas grouping back up with Flickzy. That was going ahead. You can see up at the north side of the map here, back from zone. There are some duos coming back in. But what Thomas HD and Flickzy are going to do now is refarm up that metal, get those materials capped. As we take a look at Bevies and Pablo. Shot comes through, nothing connects. Currently in 4th place on the leaderboard, but not too far from first. It's still anybody's game, Jacob. And this being the second to last match of the day, you really want to do the best you can to set yourself up for the highest chance of success for that FNCS trophy.
Yeah, especially considering how close this FNCS actually is. It's literally wide open for the taking. One blunder, one little misstep could cost a team everything, especially as you said, we're getting in the second half of the day. Few games remaining overall, which means there's few opportunities to even make up a point differential, depending on where you're at on the leaderboard. You can see Reason just trying to make his way through. For him, Surge is going to be a challenge in this game, especially as a solo, because even if you're able to pop the shots, as soon as the team turns around and sees you're a solo, they might see that as a green light to go and take advantage of the opportunity while they have it.
You can see here, Thomas and Flickzy, seeing that the zone did pull more north here by Lavish Layer, they're automatically put on the uncongested side, and they're not forced to rotate really deep into zone. So they're capitalizing on that, including the fact that they already got the 2 eliminations and damage off the start to kind of play here on the safer side, as eventually they'll get in and build up and look for those tags that they will need. But for now, they have a bit of time to kind of plan out the rest of the match.
To me, I feel like it doesn't even matter how long they stay in the zone. I feel like everything for Flickzy and Thomas is calculated at this point. Even having an entertaining run at the end. Veno's domination does continue. He's able to get a knock onto Shaco's, but he himself goes down yet again. The aggression turning out to be also their demise in some cases. Does look like Reason's getting pushed.
Yeah. In a tough situation here. 487 points on the board, 43 builds to work with. He does have those 3 med kits if he would like to stay in zone longer, but forced into this engagement, he really needs to show his dominance.
Hey, he's doing a good job fighting back, especially with numbers massively against him. One's gonna go down, but unfortunately, he's just all by himself in the numbers game. The 2v1 is just too strong for him to overtake, but you gotta give him credit being able to not only fight back, but at least get a knock onto one of the 2 players.
Giraz, Chari, ruined reels. A lot of duos here in the area. They will be taking pop shots at each other. Good news for this duo is they're elevated enough to look for those shots on the players rotating in. Diox Cade, a little more close quarters engagement here. Debule Pixel are going to be the players close by.
Cade is just a sliver of shield just left, so they're gonna have to reunite, figure out what order they want to use everything in. They do have minis. They have, I do believe, big pots or maybe a Flowberry Fizz as well, just to kind of get the last remaining of the shields. But there's still a lot of teams littered in and around fencing fields. So you have to be careful to not overstay your welcome or leave at the wrong time. And even more coming in, you see Andalex and Sato in the distance, Cam Musetti and the hill outside of fencing fields. With the zone pushing in this direction, it is going to become the congested side of the map.
You can see Murstache, sniper in hand, looking around for an opening. Pixel, Debule, most likely doing a similar thing here, as there are just a few duos in the surrounding area. Fourth zone will come to a close now. Fifth will appear. It's up north. They got to go. Good news for Queasy and Thomas HD. A little bit of worse news for the duos here down south.
This is where Zone's going to push teams further and further away from Rift Island. See Voco, Vortexers almost in the center of the zone overall. Have plenty of options. The team's even rotating, riding the train. About when you're going to get off it, though, that's going to be the biggest thing. And they're even capturing it just to get even more loot. It's Hen. That's Vasque. I do believe they were kind of pushed off their forecast tower maybe this time around. But not only is that a free rotation, you see them going to the slow side of the zone, because remember I mentioned the south being the congested, and they're going to get all those loot, which comes with extra shields and HP at times.
Eco and Pink up against Volko Vortexers. Both duos quite centered in the zone here. They shouldn't have to make much of a rotate at all, but as you can see, the damage required for Surge will continue increasing. You can hear that noise. It's a panic for a lot of players in the lobby, just like Wheat and Shimoki. We're 164 below. They see the rift close by, but what they're more interested in are those shots onto Pablo, are those shots on the players. We're contesting the Rift Island. You can see an engagement happening up above. Is that where Wheat wants to go? As he already gets chased by another player.
Doesn't really have a choice here. Down on Surge. Team trying to push into their box. And further falling down from 192 below the damage threshold. His only chance here is to fight back, especially with teams all around beginning to focus. Put him in the box, and that's Kiro Kudo from far away, even putting shots in that direction, really not allowing Wheat and Shmoky to find any stride here in the fight. You even got Lazen on the other side trying to break in from the low ground. This is just so chaotic and desperate to try to get Storm Surge for some of these players, and it's just costing them everything because now Wheat is out of heals.
Out of heals, put into panic. As now the altercations between Pablo as he gets knocked. Bevies, the last player of the duo that's up, but with just 7 HP. He needs to take out more than just one player. He needs to pop that med kit. Unable to, goes down. Wheat as well knocked. Shimoki following after, as Lox is the only one left alongside Darkus.
This is the biggest and most prime example of a no-win situation I've ever seen outside of zone. Even the ones that we saw that were still alive, very little chance being able to make it back. Malibuca and Mustache trying to bulldoze through their opponents. Storm Surge is important. 523 points, though. They have taken back first place, trying to claim it as their own. Right history for Malibuca. First FNCS title up for grabs here today.
Medkits being popped, big pots being split. You can see 6th zone already coming to a close. All the duos now forced to rotate here as the ones boxed up, looking back. Mustache, can he connect? Zooming in with that Reaper sniper rifle, looking to send his opponents to the shadows. With just 25 above, they could really use that shot. As Mustache goes left, Malibuca goes right, they split up. Huge shot connected though. It could be enough to put them above, but they don't want to get themselves into an opponent's box here. They want to regroup. They want to take shots from afar. They don't want to do anything too risky.
Yeah, and as soon as they find themselves a spot that they can box up and look back, even though they're not in zone, they're going to take it. But now teams that are already congested inside of the zone, looking back at them, making them the focal point of their target. Luckily for everybody, we're going down a little bit up this hill. Changes the line of sights, not giving everybody equal opportunity. Walks Pixie, they're still trying to make their way in towards zone, which leaves them open to shots coming out from Mustache and Malibuca. They get themselves above the damage threshold, but it comes at a cost. Shield is gone from Malibuca and some of his HP as well.
They saw the crack. It changes focus as pressure is on. Walks able to recuperate that shield that he lost, but still with the low HP. And the shots continue connecting. Jannisz close by in the pact of chaos. That's the surrounding area of Mustache and Malibuca. 30 just seconds left until 8th zone, and players are still rotating in.
See, they're just trying to target out anybody they can for Surge. Jump on board Queasy, Thomas in this replay. They're just going to try to make their way towards the zone. But first, making a little bit of a pit stop to try to gather a little bit more loot. Great find by Thomas. Him and Queasy trying to take back that first place throne. going to be a hard-fought battle literally to the very last game, Takata.
Those are the game-winning shots, Jacob. Those are the game-winning shots that Flickzy and Thomas need to get back up to first place. Currently in third. They had the hiccups from the early game. One big game could set them up in the last match. Cade now has lost Diox. He is alone, but he has a decent amount of damage. 2 medkits as well to top it off. As Storm Surge, the warning once again, advising these players to do damage. So many players close by, but you don't want to risk it all.
Now, especially since we are in the 7th zone with about 50 players still left alive. You know, it usually comes down to a situation where I do believe it's like 10 or so players need to go down. It's actually 4 at this stage, and then more so after that. So it's not going to be the easiest thing, as 8 more players still need to fall. Merstash, Malabuka, they're going to be low on Surge. They have no other choice but to go in. That's Vox, that's Pixie, who feel their force. And with that, they not only get all that loot, the mythic loot as well, but they get above the damage threshold, but still pressure coming from different angles. Merstash ends up yet another box, but it doesn't matter. Sends Aqua back to the lobby. No Noah in sight. That team's done and dusted here in game 10.
Merstash, Malabuka charged up as they look electric, fueling themselves for the rest of this late game. For Thomas HD and Flickzy on the contrary, Thomas able to get a knock. Flickzy just 1 HP. I hope they were able to get out of that scenario. I'm trying to look for them. I see Flickzy. He has shield now. It looks like they've made some sort of a comeback from that fight, securing 5 eliminations during it. But they need those medkits, Jacob. They really need to heal up.
Yeah, even Thomas is getting tagged up along the way. Shield isn't too much of a worry overall. They do have the medallion to pass around, but it's the HP in which they're heavily lacking. Flickzy cannot take 1 tick to that zone where he will go down. Cade still finding any crevice that he can gain some confidence on as he tries to move up onto Hen. Hen was ready to fight back, but somebody chopped him down to size. Might have been a blessing in disguise for Cade because he's above the damage threshold, right towards the zone as well. He just needs to be able to find some builds, whether if it's a refresh or something that gets left behind. Cade needs to go on the hunt.
Yeah, with 6 builds, it is a dangerous situation to be in as Thomas HD, Flickzy now building up top once again. We've seen players hold on from the first moving zone all the way to the end. Can they be one of the duos to do so? They're lacking HP. All they really need is a refresh to grant them those medkits or grant them anything that they can use to heal back up.
And look at that race to the finish. 31 points separating these two teams. There's well over 30 points still left in this game in terms of placement. So it's going to be a battle between these two to who can outlast the other, and Flickzy and Thomas need to get a couple more placements over Malabuka and Merstash, or maybe kind of outmatch it with eliminations. Medkits, big pots are coming out. Malabuka and Merstash getting ready for this next rotation, but first they're going to kind of disrupt a couple of these teams before they go ahead and make that rotation possible. Cade goes in, gets a knock, pressure coming in from all angles, not able to clean up the elimination before he goes down himself.
Be careful as Thomas HD Flickzy now forced to fight second high. Do they have what it takes to maintain it? It was Cammy, it was Seti down below, applying that pressure as they're back up top.
Yep. We've seen this in that last game. Of course, Flickzy was just a little bit more healthy, but they were somehow able to find the med kit in which they were looking for. Great eliminations, a great find for them from top to bottom, high ground to low. Merstash, Malabuka being the defining force. It's like everybody, whether they're up or bottom, has to go through these two teams if they're looking to take a huge VR. And Malabuka and Merstash, they want to get to the front side of zone. They're tired of being last. Thomas hits a nice snipe onto Darky. Everything comes crumbling down, but Flickzy and Thomas are quickly able to find their footing and save the day.
Grapple Blade continuing to be used, no longer with height. It's been given up as now they've been split. They need to regroup. You have to be careful here. You cannot lose your duo partner, but the chemistry isn't high enough. Thomas HD cracked, 60 HP, takes a shot at the pixel, gets out of the box, and now continues to find his duo.
Yeah, Medallion clicking him up. Malabuka, Merstash goes down. It's this amount of placing differential that Thomas and Flickzy need to overtake that first place spot. They have 6 eliminations and looking for more. They set their eyes to the backside of the zone. It is pulling in that direction. They know somebody's there, but it's Eclipse. He's trying to start his heal off early to gather more placement.
They have no materials, though. They need to make something big happen. As from ozone to stratosphere in the sky, Jannisz and Flickzy as high as they can be. Thomas HD, though, down in the dirt as he crawls towards his enemies.
Yeah, they don't really have enough to look up towards the sky. They're doing the bare minimum to stay alive from one stage to the next. And they know somebody's pressuring them from above. Time is running out. Builds are looking thin. Queasy, Thomas are going to have to look to make a play on a player, but it's them. Queasy gets aggressed on from the backside of zone, but the tables have turned. Hari's going to be able to get a knock on the one, but a ton of damage onto Thomas. Seti's going to complete the flank. Queasy's fighting for his life out here, and he gets the elimination onto Seti. Finds a couple builds, but the zone is forcing him into a whole nother team's hands.
Somebody call security. Queasy's looking unstoppable as he needs to make something happen. Zone gets the best of him. Kiduo still up with 4. Can they get 5? They get the knock onto Sky, but the duo up above, it's Jannisz, it's Flickzy. They want to take it home.
They already have one VR in the tournament yesterday. They're looking to go ahead and grab another one. Flickzy came here to play. Jannisz taking the high ground, denying all entry to Kiro and Kiduo as the first down is going to come through. Jannisz and Flickzy, 8 elims. They make it look easy as they take the game by force.
What a way to close off the second to last match. Once again, a drastic change in the leaderboard. These grand finals have been way too intense, Jacob. I just cannot wait to see how they unfold.
This is just really turning out to be a photo finish. A knock on the Pixel gets the elimination, dropping down, and Flickzy, he's been around. He's been here. Not enough respect gets on his name, and with domination just like this, Jannisz and Flickzy moving up the leaderboard. Hey, this could be his first FNCS championship.
Look, Jannisz was actually duoed up with Vidil when Vidil secured his first ever and only FNCS title. So seeing Jannisz back at it again now with Flickzy winning the second to last match, I'm only curious to see if they can bring that momentum into the last match of the day.
Yeah, and throughout the course of that game, Malibuka Mustache going toe-to-toe with Queasy and Thomas. I said they needed to go down with a big gap of placement between them. It happened. But did Queasy and Thomas do enough to take first place? Frankie, please, I need your help. Let us know.